Wichita alone, I don't know if you noticed, we've already won 6 games. We've already put our beloved head coach in his rightful place in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. And we've already reminded Missouri of their rightful place in the basketball future. Great start to the year for sure. 4 of those 6 wins were obviously on our Italian exhibition tour, and it wasn't just about the basketball on the court. It was a chance to see a young team grow together off the court, and a fine institution like KU affords these kids the opportunities for some amazing cultural experiences. We had a chance to see Lake Como, one of the most beautiful places in the world. We had a chance to tour the Coliseum, which was incredible as well. Got a private showing of the Last Supper, and we even saw the Sistine Chapel at Vatican City. That was a little scary. We thought we lost Greg early at the Vatican. We found out they put real wine in the community cups and disappeared for like an hour. I think he thought it was like a Budweiser factory tour with free samples. But we got him back. And speaking of Greg, he does such a great job both on the air and with the Williams Fund. And while I'm talking about the Williams Fund, anybody here with the Williams Fund, if you raise your hand, we've got such a great team that Matt Beatty, Wichita's proudest son, is the head coach of. And if you haven't heard about Race the Champ, make sure you find one of these folks every day, because we are so fired up about our capital campaign right now and what's coming to the University of Kansas family very soon. Well, we're going to kick off our long list of great Jayhawk speakers with one of Wichita's known for the KU Alumni Association. Give it up for Miss Danielle Hooper, everybody.
Thanks, Brian. As Brian said, my name is Danielle Hoover, and I am Director of Alumni Programs in the Wichita area. We have some exciting guest speakers here today, so I will be brief and just give a few updates. Some things going on campus. It's a great time to be a student right now. We've had some record-breaking numbers this year. The freshman class for students this year is the highest average GPA we've ever had on the university, so that's huge. We also have the most diverse class we've ever had, and 4- and 6-year retention rates for graduation are high, and we have the highest overall enrollment since 2011, so it's a great time to be a Jayhawk. On the alumni front, we appreciate all of your support because of great Jayhawks like you in this room. Membership has grown. We are leading the Big 12 in alumni memberships with over 1,000 new members in the last year, so that's huge. Thank you to you guys for being a part of that. We have also grown our President's Club membership with the Alumni Association. I see a lot of familiar faces in here, and I appreciate that. The donations go to some great programs both locally and nationwide and throughout the world. So we've got 43,000 strong Jayhawks who are alumni members. So one of those programs that we've got coming up in the start of 2018, we will be launching a KU Alumni Mentoring Program. This is a platform where we will be connecting high-level alumni with current students to make new career connections for the future and as they graduate. And so that will be able to do through 2018, and you can get to that link through our app. If you don't have our app, we have 10,000 Jayhawks using that every day. So we appreciate you guys, and I want to say thank you to KU Athletics and Williams Fund. The Alumni Association loves our partnership with them. I don't think there's any university that does it like we do, and we work so hand in hand. So we appreciate you all, and I appreciate you guys showing up. Because you guys fill this room every year, it just shows the university and the athletic department how important Wichita is to the university. So thank you all. If you ever need anything from me, please don't hesitate to ask. So, Brian?
Our next speaker, I'm privileged to work on his staff and follow under his leadership. He has incredible vision. He leads with amazing integrity and character. He's the biggest reason why we've got such excitement going on right now with what's going on with the capital campaign for Race the Champ. He's going to talk to you next. Our head hawk, Dr. Sheahon Zenger.
One of the reasons we hired Brian so you didn't have to hear from administrators as much, because he gets all the good stuff out there. But we're glad to have you with us and doing what you do, Brian. Matt, your staff, all the folks we've already recognized. Very proud of the group that we have. I'm just going to reiterate what Danielle and Brian already said. This is a meeting I never want to miss. It's one of our favorites. You always show up in force, and it's a tribute to you. The other reason I want to hear our coaches speak as much as you do. If I'm going to tell you about one thing on campus right now that you ought to be excited about, that's Chancellor Gerard. I know he's been down here already some, but if you get a chance to meet him, an extremely approachable, likable guy. You know, we were kind of doing the corporate casual thing today, but he called a meeting at 7:30 this morning at Strong Hall if you're going to get 12 administrators together at 7:30 in the morning, I better put my tie on. And it's kind of fun to watch everybody wake up at a meeting table. He leads with great passion and thoughtfulness, but it's easy to serve a guy who has performed 20-hour surgeries to rebuild people's faces. And in his free time, rides Harleys and races cars. This is a unique guy. You need to get to the meeting, and we're glad and fortunate to have him as our leader. Now, our two key speakers, Coach Brandon, you have to watch his program. He's been working his tail off in recruiting. The team looks like an entirely different team already. They've got one exhibition game under their belt, and I think you'll enjoy seeing what he's doing there. Coach Self, I don't want to give him too much material to make fun of me when he gets up here, but I would tell you one thing about him after all these years of getting to sit courtside and watching him coach that I am just impressed with year after year is this. When a game is at game point, I'm not sure there's a better coach in the country. And the stats prove that. You know, my dad used to sit at the dinner table and talk about Ulysses S. Grant all the time and perseverance and so on and so forth. And Ulysses S. Grant has this quote about in any battle, there's a moment when both teams think they're going to lose. And it's the team that presses on, that knows it's going to win, that prevails. And that's what you see in Coach Self and his team. He knows it. They know it. And all you got to do is look back over the last couple of years and look at games in Allen Fieldhouse against Oklahoma or West Virginia. I guess game point's 14 down when you got Coach Self at the helm. You can actually win that one. That's what's so impressive to me about what he does, besides how much he cares for his guys. It teaches them so much in life besides just basketball. So thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. I look forward to hearing from our coaches. Rock Chop.
Thank you, Dr. Zenger. Well, the first coach we have a chance to hear from goes by Coach Brandon. Coach Schneider is off to a great start with what he's building at the University of Kansas. This year he reeled in a number 23 nationally rated recruiting class. We've got 7 newcomers, 3 of which are 6'5", so as Dr. Zenger said, it does look like a completely different team. Last year, the first signing he ever had at KU went on to be the Big 12 Newcomer of the Year, Jessica Washington. So you can see the foundation is being laid right now. And the man who happens to be the number 2 winningest coach in the history of Division II basketball is at the helm of KU Women's Hoops. We are so excited about Coach Brandon Schneider. Give it up for your head hawk when it comes to women's basketball, Brandon Schneider.
Excited to see everybody here in Wichita today. As always, it's a packed house. My first time here 2 years ago, you can imagine when you have to precede Coach Self at the podium, that can be a little nervous. But today, Brian's really kicked up his game. I mean, he came out swinging right away early and took some really good shots. It's great to be here. You know, as Brian said, 50% of our roster is new. We have 7 new players, 3 of which are freshmen. We have a 6'5" player out of Edina, Minnesota, 6'5" player out of Clinton, North Carolina, and then a 6'1" forward out of Rayville, Louisiana. And then we have 4 junior college transfers that we're excited about. 3 of those individuals actually led our team in scoring in our first exhibition game against Emporia State. We've got another one coming up here Sunday against Pittsburgh State. You know, we did get we suffered some adversity already. If you follow our program, Jessica Washington, who's one of the premier players in the league, led the league in scoring a year ago, suffered an ACL tear 4 days into our practices, so we're going to lose her. But as I thought about what direction we needed to go with our team, I actually drew on a statement that Coach Self made in his Hall of Fame speech, and I thought it was really cool to hear him talk about every single year is a new year and an opportunity to try to put the pieces together of the puzzle. And the fact that we're going to try to put the puzzle together, that doesn't change. Our mission doesn't change. Obviously, how we go about it probably has to change when you lose a player of that caliber. But we've got high hopes for our team and look forward to making some significant progress moving forward. I know that's what you want from us. And, there's no reason that we can't continue to build what we feel like one day should be a nationally prominent women's basketball program, given your support, our administration support with the facilities. Our players will move into new housing accommodations next fall. So just really excited about what the future holds. I know we want to get Coach up here. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to take a couple. Otherwise, I really appreciate the support. Thank you. It's a good question. We're really going to try. It's a waiver that you have to go through to get a clock extension. Try to look at some precedent. It's hard to really figure out. NCAA sometimes are hard to figure out. So I think we just have to put forth the paperwork and cross our fingers and hope for the best, because obviously we'd love to have it back. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry, one more. Toughest opponent. Well, when we get into league play, I think you'll see Baylor and Texas, both are preseason top 5 in the country. We do play in our non-conference schedule. We'll play Arkansas and Nebraska at home back-to-back in December. But I think in the league, Baylor and Texas are probably going to be in a pretty good fight for the top spot. Thank you, guys. Rock Chalk.
Time for our featured speaker, a man who needs no introduction, but I'll give him a brief one anyway. We've known for a long time he's a Hall of Famer, but as of September of this year, he can now write HOF next to his signature as he was enshrined in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. What makes him doubly the Hall of Famer, though, is the individual that Bill Self is. I have a chance to work with him on a semi-regular basis during the season every day, but seeing the way he builds people up, seeing the way he utilizes his platform for the greater good. A prime example is what we just had happen 2 weeks ago with the Showdown for Relief. An idea that actually Bill Self Sr. cooked up 12 years ago when Hurricane Katrina first hit. But Bill Self, our coach, says, you know what? This hurricane devastation, there's so many families without homes now, there's so much going on. We could step forth for one day and raise maybe $1 million. Well, guess what? We raised 2. And it all started with the visionary who realized the magnitude of his platform and his position of influence. So he's always been a Hall of Fame person. Now he's a Hall of Fame head coach and a first ballot Hall of Fame head coach, I might add. Give it up for your head coach, Bill Self.
Thanks, Brian. The bad thing about what could have been a sad thing about the $2 million we raised playing Missouri is if we would have lost the game, you would have asked me to write the damn personal check myself. And the other thing that is a little bit bothersome to me, and I mean this with all sincerity, you know how when we are disciplining our kids or our people closest to us, how it's okay if we get on them and say what we feel. But if somebody else were to say something about our kid, it would really, really bother us. Greg, that's exactly how I feel right now. I don't think Brian had the right to talk about you. That's my job to talk about you. So, but no, it's great to be in Wichita again. And, I echo Sheahon's sentiments and Brandon's. It's good to come down here. I like coming down here, and even though it's for a short stint, obviously on this day, it's always fun to get around other KU faithful that love the school and help in so many ways to support our school. And it's always good to get down here and see familiar faces, and there's so many here. But one family that has done as much for me from a personal personal and professional situation as far as helping me along the way is obviously a family here in Wichita, and that would be Bob and Martha Buford. So if you give them a round of applause, certainly appreciate it. You know, RC showed me around on my visit to Oklahoma State, and after 48 beers, he convinced me that was the best school for me to attend. And then, of course, he arranged for me to be a graduate assistant at KU, and the Bufords allowed me to live in a typical collegiate housing there with RC on the #1 tee box at Albemarle. So that was very nice, and it certainly played a role in everything, every move we made since then. And my son Tyler is presently working for RC with the Spurs, and so that's been a great experience so far as well. But it's good to be here, and you know, I will also echo Brandon's statements about his team. They're big. You know, you're not used to seeing 6'5" ladies walk around, and you have multiple ones, and so I think that's been one thing with his teams up until this point, is they haven't had an opportunity to really recruit a lot of size, and they have now, and they've got good guards, and everybody's a newcomer and fresh faces, and so I certainly would encourage you guys to get out and watch the ladies play, because there'll be significant improvement there. Nothing's done overnight, but significant improvement in the women's program as well. But it is a great time to be a part of everything that's going on. How many of you have been on campus lately? Can you believe the building and grounds that's going on? I mean, I don't know how many billion of dollars was there. I want to get it right. What's that? 1.6 billion in new renovation just in the last couple of years. I mean, it's unbelievable what's going on, and so it's an exciting time. Of course, when there's new buildings and grounds going up, that's certainly a sign of growth, and so a lot of growth taking place. And hopefully there'll be some growth on our basketball team. Did you guys support the hurricane relief cause and actually purchase the pay-per-view down here? How many of you purchased the pay-per-view? You did. Now see, wasn't it so much nicer listening to Fran do the game than it would be listening to Gurley do the radio? But you know, that was a particular game in which it was too early to play for both teams, and so Conzo and I had an agreement, although we're not going to play any zone and they're not going to play any zone, but everybody played in hand, everybody gets 7 fouls, all that stuff. So it wasn't a real game, but certainly it was good to play against quality competition, because they're obviously a lot more talented than what they have been in recent memory. But I like our team too. I think that we can score fast. I think that we'll be a team this year that's been like many good teams we've had, in that I think we could be average for about 35 minutes, and it could go either way. But for 5 minutes or 3 minutes or something like that, we could go on a run. That would be the difference in the game. And if you've studied us over time, that's kind of how we do it. It's a 2-point game right before halftime, and then we go on a 10-0 run. It's 12, and you got a cushion. Or it's a tie game at halftime, and we go on a 16-4 run to start the second half, and kind of give us a cushion. And we've kind of been a spurt team, and looking at the way that we shoot it, which is inconsistently. But I do think we have potential to have great shooters. You know, we could make 4 or 5 in a row, and next thing you know, create some separation. But we could also not look very good at times as well. But I like our team. I just don't think we're very deep. You know, an injury now would certainly be a big deal. We've only got 8 guys on scholarship for the first semester. We get a 9th at Christmas, but if you can stay healthy, it's a good 8. I mean. We're not near as experienced as what people think. We return Spee and Devontae, obviously, and Legero, but other than that, Malik, you know, he hadn't made a basket yet for Kansas. Marcus hadn't made a basket yet for Kansas. Billy hadn't made a basket yet for Kansas in a real game. Doak only made a few because he was hurt last year, and it took Mitch until February to make his first free throw last year. So that's true. He was 0 for 8 until February. We're still pretty young, and we'll grow, but we'll be better as we get older, and hopefully by conference play we could be pretty good. But appreciate everything you do for us. I'll open up for questions, and if you guys have any. If you don't, that's fine too, but we came down here, we might as well talk. Yeah. Is who? Udoka? Yeah, he's fine. You know, he kind of got nicked up a little bit the other day. Got knee to knee, but there's no hangover from his wrist injury last year. Now he was actually it was the ACL of wrist. I mean, he was out for 6 full months, couldn't do anything, that stuff, and so that you know, obviously he'd be much further along if he had played. But I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, if you really think about it and you want to be patient with a big African kid that really doesn't know what he's doing yet, and he's only been over here a little while, and he's just turned 18 years old the other day. God, he's gotten better. I don't know how you guys. He's gotten better, and he's an athlete, even though sometimes he looks crude offensively, but he's very, very explosive. And I think by Christmas, you know, if things fall right, he could really play himself into one of the premier big guys that we've had in a while. So, yeah. How would we describe Malik? I would say just being semi-positively and truthful. He's a huge asset, but he's not anywhere close to where he needs to be. He sees himself as a complete player. That's what he wants to be, but we're asking him to do some things that doesn't come natural to him. He hasn't been a playmaker for others. He's a ball watcher defensively, not real good defensively, even though he's getting better. But to me, for him to become a complete guard, which, you know, he's got talent. You guys can see that. He can shoot the ball and get his own shot, you know, mid-range. He's got a lot of talent, but he's got to learn how to make others better as well. And that would be the one thing I think he's a little bit lacking in, but we're on him every day to do that. And he understands and he gets it, but he could be, you know, I would say since Boshi, the purest two guard that can just catch and shoot it and has a scorer's mentality. I don't think that we've had one since I've been here that has that type mentality. That is just just catch and shoot and make it. You know, or you know, one bounce pull up and so to me, I would put him in that category that he could certainly be a guy. Some nights he can get 25 without any problem. But he's got to learn how to make others better, too. Yes?
How do you like your schedule this year? And find out about how Coach Selton's doing it.
Yeah, well, he's not a coach. He's a front office guy. So he's working in the front office, which obviously he tells me that means his intellect is much higher than what a coach's would be. But no, he's doing great. He's doing great. You know, he gets to, you know, everybody that comes in. Tyler has, you know, as you guys know, you know, when we talk about lost seniors, you know, we're going to miss Landon, we're going to miss Frank, we're going to get Josh. Very rarely do we say, oh my God, how are we going to replace Tyler? But from a basketball standpoint, but he's a really bright kid and he gets ball. And he's got a pretty good business mind, and so RC's kind of taking him under his wing. And if you work for the Spurs, you know, and do your job, there's a chance that you'll have a chance to move on from there and have at least an opportunity to kind of make a dent in it in some capacity. And so that's what we're hoping he can do. But I'm real excited. I'm excited for him. You know, he was excited the other day because they played 3-on-3. You know, Tony Parker is out. You know, he's hurt still, but he's playing about 70%. You know, just kind of get back in shape. And I said, well, so they played 3-on-3, half court and some full court. And I said, how'd you do against him? He said, Dad, he's pretty good. And I said, oh, really? You think he's pretty good? He said, yeah, because when Tyler was here, he always said, you know, Wiggs, Dad, he can't score on me. He can't score on me. Well, son, that's because he looks at you and says, somebody else needs to probably score. You know, too easy. Dad, he cannot score on me. I said, can Parker score on you? He said, yeah, he can score on me. So he's better than Wiggs? Yeah, he's definitely better than Wiggs, but he's doing really well. And our schedule, you know, it's good. We've always played probably a top 10 to 15 schedule in the country, but many times it's been 1 or 2 also. But you know, you look at playing Kentucky right out shooting, and then playing Texas A&M and Syracuse and Nebraska, who's been ultra impressive so far in their preseason games. Stanford, Arizona State. That's a good core 6. I don't know what people look at and say it's the hardest schedule we ever play, but it'll end up being the top 10 to 15 schedule in the country. So, anybody else? Yes. Well, I think there's a lot to be excited about. If you ever go watch Joel or Andrew play, and you tell them that you're a KU fan, and you're ever in a situation where you can have dinner, just make sure those guys buy. Because you know, both of them signing for $148 million is pretty good. But you look at it, we got 16 guys in right now, and Ben's hurt, Wayne's hurt. Frank isn't getting much time at all with Sacramento yet, even though when he has, he's played very well. Josh is off to an above average start, probably not great, but above average with Phoenix. And I'm trying to think, and of course Joel and Wiggs are killing it. Obviously Marcus and Marquise are both hurt, so neither one of them have had a chance to impact their respective program. Oubre is doing very, very well. If you watched him play Golden State the other night, he was in the middle of a fight, which is what Kelly does. He's great at that. You know, if there's a fight, that's one thing about Kelly. Kelly kind of had that long hair, and, you know, really kind of a pretty guy, into fashion and stuff. But if there was ever a fight break out, even if he didn't even know who was in it, he was going to get in the middle of it. But he's doing well, but I think for the most part they're doing well. But really the two that need to carry the water for us, so to speak, are Andrew and Wiggs. I mean Andrew and Joel, because they're both. You know, if you get, you know, 2 of the 24 guys are all-stars, you know, that, I don't know what that is. What is that? 12% of the all-star team guys playing would be KU guys. That would be a nice bonus for us recruiting. And they both have chances to do that. Joe will for sure. Joe's the best center in the NBA right now. He played. He's better than everybody. But, yeah. Ben, Wayne, and Mario are all with the Grizzlies. They're all in Memphis. Mario started last night. And you know, he's coming off his Achilles injury, and Ben and Wayne are in the training room. But they'll be, you know, back out there soon. So. How's Billy feeling? Yeah, he's fine. He got hit in the noggin. And, you know, when you come down and you turn it over and you charge, and it's your 4th foul in 8 minutes, his head really started hurting worse than what he was. So, but the reality of it is Billy's fine. He's fine. And you guys know, I mean, I don't know, you know, he laid on the ground for how long, and then 2 guys had to carry him on the floor. And 3 minutes later, he's back on the bed. So, you know. But he did get hit hard. It was a legitimate hit. We wouldn't have let him play the remainder of the game anyway. But I think the charge 1 against 4 and losing the ball and all that stuff that probably played a role and how bad it hurt. So, yeah. Do we think we'll play a lot of 4? Yeah. I don't. If you guys watched it, you know, I can laugh and poke fun of Billy. He's kind of like my Greg. I can do it, but nobody else can. Have you guys noticed how talented he is? Have we had anybody 6'10" that can shoot, and run, and jump, and handle? I mean, this dude is ridiculously talented. You know, if you have a 10-speed bicycle and it gets to a 10th gear, his will max out about 3rd gear though. He has a hard time getting it out of a kind of a easy position. I mean, he needs to be able to play harder, with spurts and things like that and give a second, third effort, but that's because he's never been asked to do anything. I mean, he's a remarkable talent, but he's behind, in my mind, from an energy and effort standpoint. Like if he had Josh's intangibles effort-wise, people wouldn't be talking about Josh, they'd be talking about Billy, because he can shoot so well and he's so big. But he's one of those guys that could be great, or he's one of those guys that can just be okay, depending on the situation. So if he becomes really good, we'll be really good up front with he and Udoka. If not, then we're going to play a lot of four guards, and he'll probably be Udoka's backup a lot. So, but he's got to get it though. For which game? For all of them? No, that's not true. That's not true. You're talking about the length of the shorts. Yeah, well, trust me, there's a, you guys remember back when, but you guys probably don't, but us men in the room back in the day, our shorts were a little bit shorter than what they are now. And then there was a guy named Jordan that came out and played that lengthened them 2 or 3 inches, and everybody said, oh my God. And then there was like Arkansas who played, and then they all wore them beneath their knee. Well, I don't know if you noticed that the in thing now are shorter shorts. And if you have smaller kids, you would probably know that this is a hipper thing. I don't like it. But if they're not, we didn't make them shorter. What they do is they take them and they roll them one time. So excuse me? No, they're not made short. So you can't blame that one on Adidas. That's just how they're made. But I'll pass that along. I'll pass that along. There's only 2 of them that wear them that way. LeGerald and Marcus Carey. Those are 2 that wear them that way. And so we had somebody else wear them that way last year, and we told them that as long as they kept playing the way that they were playing, that you can't actually look not very intelligent and play that poorly. So until you play a lot better, at least to look more intelligent. But we may have them lower them because obviously some of our fan base is not pleased with this is one thing that is unique about kids. All right, and I've learned it, and I used to want everybody to be so uniform. Everybody to do it the same way. And so if you watch us, do guys wear headbands? Do guys wear wristbands? Every now and then Frank will put a sleeve on. They can only do what they do every day in practice. You can't do things that you don't do every day in practice. So like Malik Newman wore a headband every single day growing up. But when he first got here, he didn't wear a headband. And so his headband days are over. I mean, so we've always been that way. But, there are some times, well, this is how I want to wear my short. That ain't a big deal to me, folks. I'm sorry. I'll address that in a way if it becomes a serious issue and we are creating all types of mental disorders amongst fan bases and families. But that one really doesn't register with me that much. So yes.
You're talking about the change in dress and everything. What players do you have now? Do any of them have strange superstitions, or what about just your whole state of Kansas? Have you had players that had no unique superstitions, especially getting ready for game time?
Yeah, probably. But I'm not in there when they dress, so I don't know exactly. But yeah, you like I have my superstitions, and I'm sure that they have their superstitions, and this is what they want to do before every game. But that's not something that we talked about or whatnot. So, but I'm sure they have them. I do the same thing every day. So if I get up, this is what I do when I get up on game days. This is what I eat. This is when I do my little workout. This is when I take a nap if there's a nap time. This is when I start getting prepared at the exact minute every day. So I'm, creature of habit when it comes to that. I always think football coaches are such high maintenance, without question. I mean, how, please, micromanage everybody and all that stuff. But I guess I'm kind of that way too on some things as well. Pretty superstitious. So, all right.
What about the drill? He's still athletic, right?
Yeah, well, he's not more athletic. That's who he always was, but he's playing more aggressively and like going to offensive boards and stuff like that. LeGerald is, in my opinion, he's our best all-around player as of right now. You can make a case for Devontae certain days, Speed certain days, and others, but the most consistent guy to date so far to me, when you talk about a complete player, I think it's probably LeGerald. I think he's really a good basketball player. So, doesn't get him the credit he deserves. One more.
Can you give us just a view of who the other 2, 3, 4 top teams in the conference are?
Who the other top teams in the conference? I'm probably just going by what other people think. I know how I rated them. I rated West Virginia to win it. Of course, you can't vote for ourselves, so I voted for West Virginia to win it. And then I think that my teams were, and I can't remember the exact order, but may have been West Virginia, TCU, Texas, Baylor. But the thing about it is, whenever Iowa State is picked preseason 9th in your league, it's a really good league. And K-State may have been picked 8th, and they returned 3 starters off a Big 12 team. So the difference between, in my opinion, our league, you can make it, the best leagues from an appearance standpoint are the leagues that are top-heavy and bottom-heavy. And the reason those are the best leagues is because a top-heavy team always gets 2 wins against the bottom-heavy teams. And so that's how you run your record up to be 15-3 or 14-4 or whatever it is. In our league, there's not really a top this year. I mean, we'll be okay. And could we emerge as one of the good teams? Absolutely. But we're not yet. But the strength of our league are everybody can beat everybody. So Texas last year, think about this. Texas last year with the first round draft pick finished last in our league. I mean, how many teams would have anybody that's comparable to Texas in their leagues? I mean, Texas wouldn't finish last in any other league in the country. And granted, that was a weird year. They're going to be a lot better. But it's amazing to me how deep our league is. It really is. So, well, I guess that's enough time. Brian, back to you. But thank you so much for everything. Here, one other thing. Are we asking for it? We're going to ask you for money again. I know that's a very unique thing that you never hear coming from the University of Kansas. And it's not the Williams Fund that's asking it, it's our program that's asking it for Christmas to buy families gifts and food and things like that aren't as fortunate that won't be able to have a Christmas without support of others. And so we do this every year. So if you feel led, I'm sure there'll be somebody taking money, but we would appreciate anything that you feel led to give. That would be great. It'd certainly be helping out others. Thank you very much.
Good self, everybody.